All right, we're back. So you want to call in 860-464-9490-631-317-1949. We did have a call. Two of them actually didn't want to go on the air, Brendan. Dennis wanted me to ask you what you thought about Anthony Nolan voting to defund his own essentially defund his own police department, since we were talking a little bit about the police accountability bill. Yeah. What you thought about that. And then someone else, actually, Donna, wrote in and said she wants you to move to her district because she's already kind of infatuated with you. So.
That's great. Thank you. I think any of the moves to defund the police are useless and ridiculous. You can quote me on that. Yeah. It's a technical term, useless and ridiculous.
Right. It's nuts. I mean, to me, that is such a posturing. Let's try to appease this small sect of the population, because it's going to come back and bite everybody in the rear end when they talk about defunding some of these police departments.
I have friends that are police officers. I have also had times when I was profiled and pulled over for what might be questionable reasons, but what you want is all you want, and I know this is all the police officers want, is the tools and the ability to weed out the bad apples. That's all you need.
Right. I agree. Hey, listen, how is COVID campaigning going?
Oh my goodness! Well, we are finally hitting the streets. This is it almost in essence shut down my campaign in the early months when you went through March and April. I was basically confined to only being able to do things by phone, and that made it very tough to raise funds at the time. But thankfully, we raised our funds. I've received the CEP funding, and now we're hitting the streets as gatherings are able to happen. We're having outdoor, socially distanced gatherings. We're doing sign waves, and specifically, I'm just hitting doors at this point. And I got to tell you, Lee, it's pretty cool to go up to a door and to have somebody say, "I heard you on Lee Elci." so it's pretty cool. So I throw on a mask. If you see a large, smiling black gentleman at your door with a mask,
don't dial 911.
Well, if you do, they defunded the police, so they're not coming anyway.
That's true. That's true.
So I knock on the door. I step back to the bottom of the steps. I wait for you to open the door, and I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Brendan, and I'd like to give you this information and ask you to consider voting for me in November. And then either they kindly take it and close the door, or we have a great discussion. Either way, it's fun. But that's what my life is all about.
What's the percentage of folks who say, welcome you, sure, welcome you into the conversation, like they want to talk to you, or is it half the people shut the door no matter what?
Oh yeah. Well. Okay, we'll take for every 10 houses I knock on, I probably have 3 to 4 great conversations.
That's great.
And by the way, a great conversation could even be somebody who is saying to me, which I've had more than once, I've seen your stuff, I've heard about you, I know you're a great person, but I'm a Democrat, and I just don't know if I can vote for a Republican. So I even considered that a great conversation, because I have had a Democrat who was a self-proclaimed socialist tell me she was going to really give deep thought to voting for me, because she understood what I was saying about this Eversource situation and Norm's culpability in the rate increase. She actually understood it. I started to give her my little lecture on it, and she's like, no, I know. They're making it up on the back end. And she gave me my own speech. And I said, well, then you know. And she goes, yeah, and I'm a socialist, and I'm still going to probably vote for you, she said.
Wow. Yeah.
So great conversations can be Republicans who I'm knocking knuckles with, or it could be independents who are saying, yeah, you know what, it's time for change. It can be Democrats saying, I'm not sure that we can afford to have him in there any longer. That he's not done anything to lower the cost of living. So, yeah, man, I enjoy it. And then, like I said, out of every 10 doors I knock on, probably 3 to 4 of them I have that kind of great conversation.
That's great. Well, the secret is getting that Republican who probably wasn't going to vote at all, energized to come out and vote for you. And then on top of that, getting that middle of the road person who doesn't know, saying, you know what, this is my guy. If you can, you can convince a little bit more than half of those folks, you're in.
Yeah.
That goes for anybody who's running.
Yep.
You get out there and have that kind of a personality, you could do it.
I think so. I think I'm a reasonable guy. I do want to fire up my Republican base, let them know that they have a great candidate who has a lot of high energy, but I also believe I'm a reasonable guy. I've told you my history the very first time I came on here. I was raised in a family where my mother is a Republican, my father is a Democrat, and what they both stressed was it isn't necessarily about the party, it's about the person,
Right.
You need to look at the person that you're voting for and get to know him. And I think that when people do that, they'll realize that I'm a reasonable person and that regardless of their affiliation, I have a good heart. There's good things that I want to do, and I think that we can do it a better way than the current incumbent is.
All right, we're going to run out of time. We only got about 2 minutes, but I know you wanted to mention something about your opponent getting money from the government for his company.
Well, yeah, I found this interesting, and several sources have cataloged it, not the least of which is the CT Examiner. So my opponent owns a company, a large company. He's got over 250 employees there, and he applied for and received PPP funding. Now, keep in mind, PPP funding, though it is a loan, it is also taxpayer-based, and he received between $2 and $5 million in funding to keep going during the pandemic. The problem was he never shut down. The PPP funding was for smaller businesses. It was for businesses that had to shut down. It was for businesses that had to lay off most of their workforce, and he did none of that. He didn't shut down. He didn't lay off a major portion of his workforce, and yet he still applied for and received this funding. And then he actually admitted in the article by the CT Examiner that he used the funds to give his employees a pay raise. And I'm going, what kind of person does that? If you're good, listen, if you've decided we're an essential business, we've been branded as that, and we're going to tough it out through this, and I'm so thankful for my employees, I want to do something special for them, by all means, go do that. But don't work the system to get taxpayer-based money to then do that for your workers. To me, that is so it runs the line of being, frankly, unethical. But that kind of thing boggles my mind because I can tell you that my company asked me to take a pay cut.
Right.
They in fact furloughed all but 3 people at the worst part of this. Right. I was one of the lucky 3 left, but I was also asked to take a pay cut. I wish that they had worked the system to get me a raise.
Right. Brandon, I got to run. I'm out of time, but tell everybody your website real quick.
Hey, Saunders, the number 4 Senate, SAUNDERS, the number 4 Senate.com.
All right, my friend. I got to run. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you, Lee.
You got it. State Senate candidate Brendan Saunders. I got to go. Bob Stefanowski will join me after the top of the hour news. Don't go anywhere. Once again, you're listening to 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk.